The Blair Witch Project came out in 1999 and was a massive success. This is what every kid in my school was talking about back in 99. I remember going to school and having kids tell me they went to this movie, with their parents of course, trying to figure out how many F words were in this film. One kid came to school proclaiming he had counted all of the F words and he was so proud of that. And I thought it'd be fun to talk about the two theatrical Blair Witch films, this one and the Book of Shadows film, before the new Blair Witch reboot comes out later in September. There was a gargantuan amount of secrecy surrounding this film. The marketing was on point. A lot of people genuinely thought this was real, authentic footage of three teenagers who got lost in the woods searching for the famed Blair Witch. And so for that reason, there are really two groups of people who watched this film. People who saw it perhaps back in 99 for the very first time, watched it in theaters, who were terrified. There was this aura surrounding the film of is it real or is it not real? And that really added a lot of weight to the movie and to the experience. And a lot of critics back in the day called it one of the scariest movies ever made because that added sense of is this real or is this not real definitely helped the film. I didn't see it in theaters back in 99. I saw it for the first time at home when everyone knew it was fake, when everyone knew it was just a film made by some very clever filmmakers, and I appreciated the film for what it was. But the second group of people are the people who have heard the hype of this movie for years, who have constantly heard about it, who maybe even grew up hearing about it and then watched it for the first time and said nothing happened. What the hell? There was no music, there's no witch in the film, you don't see anything, nothing ever really happens, it's just some annoying people who get lost in the woods. And that group of people tend to hate the Blair Witch Project, and so this movie has a lot of things going for it, and some things not going for it. I actually did get a chance to see this movie in theaters because a really cool independent theater by my house called The Nightlight did a witch series, and the Blair Witch was one of the films they chose, and I got to see it in theaters, and it's definitely a different experience when those lights go down and you're suddenly surrounded by the sounds captured by this very low quality footage. It's different all these years later when you watch it at home because it doesn't hold that power or that weight. And even though nothing really does happen in the film, what I think works best about the Blair Witch Project is the three main performances as well as the sense of realism. These actors are very good. They are giving very good performances, and you really can't argue with that because surveys were done about how many people actually believed that this was authentic, real documentary footage. Many people thought it was real. A lot of people bought into it, and a lot of that is due to these excellent performances. The filmmakers went to such extreme extents to put missing flyers around the various festivals that this film showed at, adding to the confusion if these kids were really missing or not. Also, it was one of the first films to receive a viral marketing campaign. You went on the website and you could learn things, you could read behind the scenes information about the supposed Blair Witch lore, as well as see missing photos of these kids. And if you read the IMDb trivia for this film, you can actually see in the trivia section that the mother of Heather Donahue received sympathy cards because genuinely people thought her daughter was missing or maybe even dead. That's how much people bought into this film back in the late 90s. It was a pop culture phenomenon. Does it hold up as well? Not as much, because now we know it's not real and we've seen a slew of imitators in the found footage format that give us more dramatically and thematically than the Blair Witch Project gave us. So it doesn't have the best replay value, but that's actually also a big plus, that it doesn't give us as much drama and as much scary moments, because that makes it seem more real. It seems more grounded in reality that we're watching events that are real because nothing big and larger than life and very movie-like happens in the film, and so it does in a way feel real. It was also one of the most vastly profitable movies of all time, made for an incredibly small budget that really anyone could actually pull off nowadays with the technology that's available to us. Anyone really with a knowledge of how to make a film could make the Blair Witch Project today. So it's kind of crazy that somebody didn't think of this idea sooner than they did, but these guys, man, did they make bank. They even returned the camera they bought from Circuit City, got a refund on it, to make their budget go even farther. That's crazy. One of my favorite bits of info about this movie is that the Blair Witch was actually supposed to show up. There's a scene in the film where the characters run out of their tent, and I believe it's Heather says, oh my god, what is that?" The cameraman was supposed to pan to the left, and there was going to be like a woman standing up on like this high hill area in like a white gown. They didn't pan to the left, and they never reshot it. But the Blair Witch was supposed to be in the movie for just one little bit. That being said, the finale of this movie is chilling. There is something absolutely startling and bothersome about the way the film ends. And if you've never seen it, I won't ruin it for you, but it harkens back to things that people in the town said in the beginning of the film, and it ties together nicely to leave a very chilling feeling inside of you. Some people may refer to this film as a classic simply because of what it started, simply because of how effective it was when it was initially released. I wouldn't go that far. I think it's a very effective found footage movie with 3 really good performances and a genuine sense of creepiness, but it doesn't hold up as much all these years later because we've been exposed to so many other found footage films that are technically better. But in the same way, as I said, that kind of works as a strength for this movie because it does feel more realistic. I'm going to give the Blair Witch Project a B. Guys, stay tuned because I'm going to have a review for Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. That's actually a film I'm excited to talk about because it has a very strange story behind it. There are 2 Book of Shadows films, one that the director was trying to make and one the studio wanted. What we got was the one the studio wanted. I want to also talk about what the director was trying to do and the hopes that maybe one day we'll get a director's cut. I'm excited to talk about that very soon. You guys are the best. Thank you very much for watching, and if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.